Okay, it's 5 p.m. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the Privacy Engineering Conference. So as some of you knows, it was scheduled last year, but we were using a platform that had some privacy issues, and we want to thank all the person in the privacy engineering community that told us and share with us these privacy issues. And so to be like coherent with our values, we've decided to look for a new platforms to host this privacy engineering conference. And that's why now we are using Brave Talk. And so we also change the way we do the conference. It's not only one day, but it's several talks every 2 weeks with wonderful and highly competent speakers. Before I present to you the speaker of today, I wanted to say to you that you can ask questions in the chat, and we will, as a moderator, I will take the question and ask them to our guest today. So speaking of highly competent and wonderful speaker, I have the honor to welcome Onur Karucu. So hello, Onur.
Hi, Jules. Hello. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So you're the VP of Consulting, Cybersecurity and Data Protection at Therision DX. You're going to talk about the privacy enhancing technology. So that's technologies that embody fundamental data protection principles by minimizing personal data use, maximizing data security, and empowering individuals. But before that, I think you wanted to share some thoughts about the horrible event that happened in Turkey and Syria last week.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jules. Actually, thank you very much for everybody to attend the session, taking their time. I hope it will be very informative and helpful for them. I would like to start my words with my condolences to the people who died after painful earthquakes in Turkey and, of course, in Syria too. Thousands of people lost their lives in these earthquakes, and they said this is one of the most destructive natural disasters of this century, and many people are still waiting to be rescued in the wreckage. Since the earthquakes affected a large area, it's just in Turkey, it's more than 10 cities. So resources such as equipments, food, water cannot be reached, and the harsh winter conditions become more destructive too. And they did an international help call has been made to all over the world actually, and so you can support them through the help channels that I shared through LinkedIn, or even your prayers will be very valuable for us because they need it. So this is my face is not so smiling today, and my energy came low, so please excuse me for that just for today. And I'm going to talk about privacy enhanced technologies. As Jules mentioned, that this is a brand new topic and embraces both technology and privacy in recent years. And before start my speech, I want to introduce myself. Thank you very much. Jules say my title, my current title, but I've started my professional life. Actually, I started and continued my professional life in multinational professional companies. Such as KPMG, PwC, and Grant Thornton. And I had the opportunity to work as an experienced consultant in part of senior management in different geographies of the world. And recently, I worked as a GRC, Cybersecurity and Data Protection Director within Avanade UK and Ireland. Avanade is an Accenture and Microsoft joint venture. And before moving into my new role, and my new role is right now VP of Vice President of Consulting, Cybersecurity and Data Protection. It's one of the Microsoft partners. Then let's start talk about pets. Pets. This is really so spectacular topic. Not just for European part or just US part, it's all over the world right now because after pandemic time, in China, in the other really high population countries like India, they put in first their privacy legislations or data protection legislations. So everybody try to manage their data, to understand their individual data, and how can they secure it, how can they transfer it, how can they manage them. And through the data privacy legislation such as GDPR and California Act rules are meant to prevent privacy breaches. Consumer privacy is frequently invaded by hackers, companies, and governments. So data leakage, it's one of the biggest problems all over the world, and increase a business share consumers' data with third-party companies in order to gain insights, improve their services, or monetize their data assets. And these privacy enhanced technologies allow businesses to leverage to the increased amount of the data while ensuring personal or sensitive information stays private. Thus, improve corporate reputation and compliance. This is the one of the strength of the all over the world's company and especially the tech companies. So, what does this PATS mean? What is when we talk about this PATS? What are we talking about? PATS are technologies that embody fundamental data protection principles by minimizing personal data use and maximizing data security and empowering individuals. This is important because, yeah, we want to minimize the use of personal data, but even though we want to maximize data security. So we have to handle these different two topics together. I mean, that's cybersecurity and privacy. So this privacy enhanced technologies is important, and it's a collaboration for both of these really mainstream areas. And useful definition from European Union Agency for Network and Information Security, they call themselves this, ENISA. ENISA is important because when GDPR put in force the newest version of it, they really got lots of refers from ENISA, and ENISA refers pets. This is important for us because, after all, they said this is an official definition, and they said pet is good, and if you use this kind of privacy enhanced technologies, you can empower your privacy and cybersecurity postures in your company. And they said software and hardware solutions, systems encompassing technical processes, methods, or knowledge to achieve specific privacy or data protection functionality, or to protect against risks of privacy an individual or a group of natural persons. So we're generally trying to tell the people the privacy and the data protection is not the same thing, because privacy generally refer from the legislations, but data protection is a part of the protection all the data. I mean, that's secure the data. So PATS link closely the concept privacy by design, and therefore apply to technical measures you can put in place. There are also means to implementing data protection by design with organization on a technical level. So why are PATS important for now? All these companies or all these governments, like any other privacy solutions, privacy enhanced technologies are important due to three reasons for the businesses. The first one, data protection laws such as GDPR, DLA, CCPA, whatever. Think about it. It can be local legislation, or it can be a community legislation like GDPR for the European Union. But if you're looking at the survey, you can understand that this is billion dollars all over the world just 1 year. So privacy is a really big and spectacular sector right now. So the second one, data may need to be tested by third-party organizations due to the lack of businesses' self-sufficiency in analytics and application testing. PATS enable privacy protecting while data sharing. And the third one is privacy breaches can harm your business's reputation, businesses or customers. And it's depending on your business model, of course. You can work together with just directly to customer or indirectly. But all of these companies want to stop interacting with their brand because, the biggest example of it, because I am an alumni of University of Cambridge, and after all these price loss of Facebook, this Cambridge Analytica scandal shakes the world. Then, let's talk about top 10 privacy enhancing technology examples. We can start with the cryptographic algorithms. This is one of the most important privacy enhanced technologies aspects because we are generally trying to secure all our servers, all our containers, that on cloud systems. We are generally trying to use this kind of cryptographic methods. So we can call it algorithm, and we can divide it different ways. The first one is homomorphic encryption. This is one of the encryption that enables computational operations on encrypted data, that enables your data put in a secure way to store in a secure way. It generates an encrypted results, which when decrypted, matches the results of operation as if they been performed on an encrypted data. So you can think about it, it can be structural or unstructural data. Therefore, companies can share sensitive data with third parties for analysis purposes. It is also useful applications that hold encrypted data in a cloud storage. And also we have to talk about some types of homomorphic encryption. This is one of the partial homomorphic encryption, can perform one type of operation on encrypted data, and the other one is somewhat homomorphic encryption, and this is can perform more than one type of operation. Think about it, it can be addition or um, multiple area that enables limited number of operations. And the other one is fully homomorphic encryption, and it is again more than one type of operation, and there is also no restriction on the number of operations performed. So you can choose which one is really good fits to your operations and the business model, because it can depend on your cloud model or the brand of cloud, or if it's a private cloud, if it's a public cloud or hybrid one. And the second one is secure multi-party computation. This is secure multi-party computation is subfield of homomorphic encryption. But there is a difference. This difference means that users are able to compute values from multiple encrypted data sources. And the other one is differential privacy. Differential privacy is important because we generally trying to use this kind of changeable and variable, passwords and algorithms to always try to secure our this kind of storage area. But sharing any information about individuals, this is the red flag. So this cryptographic algorithm adds a statistical noise layer. This is important because we generally try to use this kind of words for pets, because if you want to use a dashboard of pets, you need to understand this statistical noise layer, because this is the dataset which enables the describe patterns of groups. And the last one for this cryptographic part is zero knowledge. Zero knowledge proofs uses a set of cryptographic algorithms to allow information to validate it without revealing data. This is what means that proves it. And the other one is data masking. Data masking, this is the biggest part of the privacy by design projects, So if you want to talk about GDPR and the technical part of it, you need to focus on data masking techniques too. And some of privacy enhancing technologies are also included, because today you can find different types of privacy enhanced technologies. But if you can find, think about it. For example, if you are not just need to eligible for GDPR, you need to align with, complying with PCI DSS. I mean that if you are storing some credit card data, you need to use this kind of data masking tools too. So these data masking techniques that are used by businesses to protect sensitive information in their sets. There are again some differences about it. The first one is obfuscation. This is one of the general term of data masking that contains multiple methods and replace sensitive data by adding, distracting, or misleading data or logging your profile. And the other one is pseudonymization. This is oh my god, it's hard to say, and it is identifier fields actually, because we generally use it. When you try to use your credit card information, you can see some stars on your screen. This means that this company or this whatever is it, this is a web page or this e-commerce area, they are using this data masking issues or techniques. And the other one's data minimization. This is important because if you are using these PATS technologies, you can use it to understand the priority of your business, because you have to manage your data in this way, you need to understand the risks first of all, and then you can put all the data in a secure area, layered by layered, to understand the priority and the secondary information. So this data minimization means that you use the information with this layer, but by the purpose. So after all, collecting minimum data amount of personal data, that enables the business to provide the elements of a service. And the communication anonymizers, because this is important, because IP addresses, email addresses, all this kind of information, this online identity for the individuals. So with disposal one time or untraceable identities is important. Again, you can, for example, if you have Revolut credit card, it can be a good example for this one because it's untraceable. You can use this card just one time, and you can just dispose all this kind of IP, footage, or the logs. And the last one is AI and machine learning, ML. Algorithms. There are two different ones. The first one is synthetic data generation. This is an artificially created by using different algorithms, including machine learning algorithm. If you are interested in privacy enhanced technologies, because you need to transform your data into a testing environment first of all, because you cannot use just product environment. And if you use this testing environment where third-party users have access, generating synthetic data that has same statistical characteristic is a better option to it is like that. If you never can trust your third parties as a legal part of your companies, because they're trying to put and use some different policies and procedures, but you need to understand their maturity of privacy level. So this synthetic data generation is important to using in test environment and creating this kind of information. And the federated learning, the other ones, this is the machine learning technique. It's not so popular in this world right now, but after all, that trains an algorithm across multiple decentralized edge devices or servers holding local data samples. So without exchanging them, this is the important part, because we need to minimization by reducing the amount of the data, but must be retained on a centralized server or in a cloud storage. And so if we continue again, what are the top use cases for the pets? This is important for us because for the test data management, application testing and data analysis are sometimes handled by third-party providers, and even they are handled in-house, companies should minimize internal access to customer data. Using a suitable privacy-enhanced technologies doesn't significantly affect test results is important for organizations. So we can talk about different aspects in here. The first one, financial transactions. Financial institutions are responsible for protecting the privacy of the customers or individuals due to citizens' freedom to conduct private deals and transactions with other parties. But the other one is healthcare services. This is one of the most important part after just pandemic, because in medical sector or the healthcare services, this industry generally collects and shares whenever they need it electronic health records. We called it EHR of patients. This is important because if you got this kind of problems, you said, yeah, please share my information, because you need to treat yourself. But at the end of the story, for example, clinical data can be used for searching for adverse effects of various drug combinations, and healthcare companies ensure the privacy of patients' data in such a cases by using privacy-enhanced technologies, because the security, this is the main part in here, because we are not talking about just personal information, we are talking about sensitive information after all in healthcare sectors, and facilitating data transfer between multiple parties, including intermediaries. For businesses that work as a middleman between two parties, it's like in cybersecurity area, man-in-the-middle attack. The usage of privacy-enhanced technologies is crucial since these businesses are responsible for protecting the privacy of both parties' information. And let's talk about ICO, because this is important again. GDPR is one of the major legislation for the privacy part all over the world. So if we can continue the other slide, we can show the ICO publishments, because ICO last year, ICO the information communications part published a draft guidance on privacy enhanced technologies to help organizations unlock the potential of data by putting a data protection by design approach into practice. And they said these paths are technologies that can help organizations share and use people's data responsibility and lawfully and securely, including by minimizing the amount of data used by encrypting or anonymizing personal information. They are already used by financial organizations when investigating money laundering. AML is another important topic for the again data security part, and for example, and by the healthcare sector to provide better health outcomes and services to the public. The draft pets guidance explains the benefits and different types of these pets currently available, as well as how they can help organizations comply with data protection law. And it's a part of ICO's draft guidance and anonymization and pseudonymization. Oh my god, I can't say this word. Pseudonymization. And the ICO is seeing feedback, help refine and improve the final guidance. And maybe we have to say this is important, as this part, the ICO will call the development of industry lead governance, such as codes of conduct and certification schemes to help organizations use pets responsibly, and to help pets developers and providers build technology and with this data protection privacy at forefront. Maybe we can say something about from my work life in here, because as Microsoft part, when we try to improve our pets, these privacy enhanced technologies, or our other products to put in other dashboard activities for privacy part, we generally try to ask ICO, and now they are supporting this kind of really giant technology companies to create this kind of privacy enhanced technologies. So the other part is the importance of creating the data collaboration strategy, because data is an organization's most precious resource, and it is used to countless numbers of ways, and from making product decisions to understand consumer needs. Yet the data remains largely maybe underutilized, often restricted by privacy concerns. So the major conflict in here remains between gaining utility from a dataset and protecting the privacy individuals or entities or companies, and overcoming this conflict by creating a data collaboration strategy. And it has to be potential to bring exponential impact to both organizations and their customers. For example, medical facilities can accelerate discovery, personalize healthcare, and improve health outcomes, or governments can perform confidential investigations and interagency collaborations. So again, in here, we have different duality platform we are using for this privacy enhanced technologies, this duality platform. And there are 3 different models, and these models are analytics of single dataset and analytics of union dataset, aka horizontal. The other one is analytics of joint dataset, aka vertical data analysis. So we are generally talk about the single, horizontal, and vertical. It is like cryptography part. So we generally trying to enable organizations to collaborate on federated data and to run analysis in a secure manner on data that shares the same scheme. And this option is also referred as a horizontal or vertical federated analysis. So robust computation engines is really important for us, because we are generally trying to adjust the right technology to various use cases and helping users this kind of managed data and collaborative network. And after all, as a consumer part, the tech balancing the data insights and customer privacy part, privacy now it's a key regulatory and consumer depend, but this is present a challenge for businesses. maybe we can say this is the important part. I know we are consuming our time, so I just want to finish some important part with this way. But the pets help protect information, I mean, that personal information, by ensuring it also be utilized for analytics or advertising. And think about it, secure multi-party computation meanwhile lets multiple entities collaborate without viewing each other's data. And finally, a trusted acquisition environment isolates the data from the computer's main processors and ensure it remains protected. Maybe we can give some examples at the end of it, such as firms Apple, Meta, Google are recognizing their potential, and they are using, for example, after pandemic, Google and Apple demonstrated how pets could be used for privacy preserving, COVID-19 contact tracing, or Facebook meanwhile use a combination of pets measure advertising metrics without compromising users' privacy. So maybe we can ask some questions which pets you should use. I can share 5 important questions if you want to choose a real good pets for your company. The first one, identify the type of your data if you are using. The second one, consider whether you will have to share information with third parties. The third one, define whenever you need access to the data set or only to output. The fourth one, decide if the data will be used to train machine learning or artificial intelligence applications. And 5, calculate your budget, because some pets are costlier than others. At the end of it, pets are not yet mainstream, but the technologies are currently being adopted by large organizations and the niche specialists with a strong privacy focus. And if you want to manage your data, if you want to understand how can your company can experience this data breach, or if you want to prioritize your risky information, risky sensitive information, you cannot manage everything without this kind of technology. And maybe not this year, but after 2-3 years, in this 5 years, we will face with really strong, good, and reasonable privacy enhanced technologies. Yeah, maybe after all, we can continue with our QA if we have any questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a wonderful and very interesting presentation. And in fact, yes, we have some questions. So I think you started to answer, but maybe you can go a little bit further on that. We have someone in the chat asking, like on a company point of view, is there somewhere a decision matrix of privacy enablement versus difficulty cost to implement?
Yeah, actually, it's a good question, because as I mentioned before, this is the 5th aspect of if you are choosing a pets technology for your companies. The privacy enablement and difficulty cost, yeah, this is important, but you know what? In this world right now, you can find really cheap and really good cost these kind of tools, and they can speak with your different technology infrastructure together, and you can manage it. So I think this is easier than choose a cybersecurity infrastructure, equipment, or tool. So there are lots of really good brands right now, not just OneTrust or this kind of main brands. There are lots of really good, cheap, and I don't know, the performance, cost and performance. If you look at this, ratio, there are lots of really good tools right now. Is there specific technical trainings on these paths and certifications? Yes, they have. Because, one of the most knowledgeable or the popular one is OneTrust right now. And OneTrust got lots of certifications. And if you got all of them, you can be fellow of OneTrust. So, yeah, of course, if your company choose these ones, you can get this certification, because there are some different section of it. For example, if you just want to focus on manage data, if you just want to focus on store that data, or you can just focus on transfer data. So there are these kind of really different varieties of certifications you can get and training. Is there a specific, what is today the most mature pet implemented at scale? This is a hard question, because as I mentioned again, in a pet technology, for example, you can find data masking or anonymization aspects or dashboards together, or you can just focus on to mapping your data, understand your processes. So I don't know. This depends on your companies. If your company is directly attached to customer, this is important to using this data masking and mapping issues together. But if your company is just a production company and you are not touching customers' data directly, maybe you can use a cheapest one because you can solve your problems just this, tools on applications easily. How a startup can justify investigating in pet. Hmm. Actually, I share these questions. Maybe I can answer this how a startup can justify question. This one I can share this on LinkedIn. If somebody this kind of questions, I can share some white paper with them because they are really good analysis. They can focus on their infrastructure, or if they got really good brands they are working on. Actually, even their database is important, SQL or Linux or the other ones. So we need to first of all get this information to give the right answer.
Yeah.
And
Oh, sorry.
sorry.
Another question. It's like today, I think that the general public level of understanding of what is pet and who uses pet is not very high, to say so. So, what advices could you give to companies that want to communicate on the fact that they uses pet internally and that it's for the good of their users? And more generally, how could we raise the public's level of understanding of the benefits and limits of pets?
Okay, Jules. Actually, I have to start these words. This is important because we can talk about lots of technical issues in this area, but breaking the barrier between security and privacy teams, I think this is the most important issues in here. Because in privacy department generally talk about legislations and this kind of paperworks and notifications or policies, and generally they try to track it on a platform. But on the security part, they are so, how can I say, stronger than them in this area because they are using this kind of, they have been using this kind of technologies in many years, and they can use codes and they can calculate, they can manage this kind of data before privacy too. Because think about it, ISO 27001 or this kind of information security standards not just focusing on information of person, I mean that personal information. They're focusing on all this kind of strategical and important, or I don't know, the critical data of the company. So this is important to understand each other. Privacy and security department can work together and break this barrier first of all. And after all, if you can stock and give a good budget for this privacy part, pets part, you can start with a simple um, domains with this pets technology, and you can after all put the other stronger part into it because it can be a little bit expensive for a startup or medium size of the companies, but after all you can make this larger and you can invest it after all again and again. It depends on your, again I'm saying, processes and the business model.
All right, thank you. And there are two, I think, last questions because I don't want to take too much of your time
Okay.
because we say 20-minute and 10-minute questions. But we have someone in the chat asking, like, we talk about zero trust, zero knowledge, data minimizations. So everything seems to tends to zero. So are we losing too much value with pet to make privacy exciting for business? And and I will ask you the last question after. Yeah, I'll let you
Actually,
answer.
yeah, it's a good question again because this is one of the motto of Microsoft. They're always using this zero trust, not zero knowledge, but privacy by design part, zero knowledge. It is not like that, but after all, it is like this. Yeah, zero trust is important for the security part because it means that you have to be spectacle all of these kind of different areas because not just for privacy part we are focusing on all the security aspects, but after all in here, in he or she, I don't know, are we losing too much value with pet to make privacy exciting for businesses? I don't know, because they are still need to use this kind of technologies, but after all, there are lots of problems to solve. Because, if they got any data breaches, if they got any processes to send a notification to all customers, third parties, I mean the related parties. So there are lots of this kind of exciting businesses still in there, but it is just help them to tracking all the data, and manageable data is important in this part, because some of these companies always think that they can manage it with just one Excel or just one, this kind of Word document sheet, but they cannot do that, because this is a data set, and after all, they're collecting again and again. So they need to understand the data set and manage it together before they had experienced any data breach or this kind of investigation issues. And the last one, are PAT a way to do same as before, but with privacy? Does PAT really enable the mindset change? It's a little bit different after all, because when we started work on privacy part, this PATS technology, they never called it PATS. They just try to mention it's a mapping technology or processes, understanding process technology, because in GDPR, they just try to mention that we need to put a good documentation about our processes and all these mapping issues. But after all, the companies understood it, because after all these cloud, AI, emerging technologies issues, there are really huge, giant data sets still in there. And so today's PATS technology is different than 5 years before. So maybe we can say that after, especially AI, because AI changed the game. Because after AI mindset putting in the PATS, the coding issues and these kind of classification issues changing. As I mentioned in the cryptography part, it's a how can I say it? You cannot make it stable. It's a unstable part in it. So the NIPAT, this is different mindset. Yeah. So the answer is like that, I think, because if you choose a really good PAT and put in the use in your company, and if it can bond together your databases or your infrastructures, you can understand me, because after all, it's not just the mapping or this kind of inventory application. This is different mindset. You can manage your data. You can understand the advertising strategy with this kind of data, like Google do, like Microsoft do, like our Meta do. They are using this kind of technologies right now. And if you can have a really good software team, and if you can coding it to make a tailor-made application for your company, you can make it very stronger then.
Great. Thank you very much. It was a really great talk, great QA. I remind everyone that if they want to ask you more questions, if they were too shy to do it there, they can do it like on LinkedIn. There is a link on the screen, and you can also flash the QR code if you want to find the link easier. So again, Onur, it was an honor to have you today, and thank you very much. And I hope we'll see you later for more conference on privacy engineering. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lucia. Thank you very much for everybody.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.